Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We had some technical difficulties here, but we're finally live now. What's up? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I see we got some people in here already. We got two people in here, so I got a lot of stuff I'm going to cover today, guys. So let's wait for some people to get on in here now. I'm not sure when I'm catching a lot of you guys out there, but let's see. Yo, Aiden, how you doing, man? Ricardo, Avila, welcome in, guys. Hey, guys, when you come in, just make sure you guys go ahead and hit the like button so we can get the notifications. I appreciate that. Renzo, how you doing? Sharon, Rada, how you doing? Gio, how you doing? Let me see, love from Chicago. Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate that. Yes, I saw you. Yes, you were there. Yes, that's what's up. Hey, Gilbert, how you doing? Make sure you guys hit the like so we get the notifications out. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about today. So I'm going to talk about the Rondo, obviously in the title, but I'm also going to talk about the game last night. I want to talk about that. And also for the people that are coming in now, just want to let you guys know we have content coming up today. We got 2 videos coming out on the channel. So be on the lookout for that. As soon as we finish this live, those videos we have one of our videos coming out. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you guys keep hitting the like button. I see you guys are checking in. Yeah, Marco's also in here. You can say what's up to Marco. Marco's also inside the chat. And make sure you hit the likes as you're coming in. Hey, Smith from Columbia, Missouri, welcome in. Mark Law, seeing the drama between PG and CP3. No, I didn't see that. I didn't catch that part. Make sure you guys hit the likes, guys, so we get the notifications up. Make sure you guys hit the likes because the notifications are a little bit low right now. The likes are a little bit low. Let me see. James Franco, how you doing? Alan, what's good? Let me see. Is it time to start Rondo? It's time to start Rondo. Okay. Yeah, let's just give everybody some time to come in. Make sure you guys hit the likes, guys. Let's give everybody a few minutes. We're almost at 50 people here, so let's just allow everybody to catch up to the live. I know a lot of you guys are in different parts of the world, so we got to give everybody some time to catch up to it. So we start in about 2 minutes here. Let me just see how you guys are doing. The problem is PG got paid and got extremely lazy. Okay, what else you guys? Tie rotation in recent games has been sus. Hey, Rhea, what's good? Welcome in. Okay, what's good? Bro, what's good? Rio's Jamaica. How you doing? Bolo, the conglomerate. Welcome in. Make sure you guys hit the likes, guys, so we get the notifications out. Make sure we get the likes up. The likes are a little bit low right now. Let's get the likes up. And then we'll wait a little bit longer. I think Kawhi might play this Saturday. We gotta wait and see. Z World, what's good? Let's just wait about another minute or so, give more people some time, and then we'll get into the content. I got a lot of stuff I want to cover today. We need Serge back ASAP. Yes, I agree with you. We need Serge Ibaka back. Let's see. Okay, putting in the work. I can't even front. PG been putting in that work. Yes, he has. We're almost at 40 people. Keep getting the likes up, guys. Appreciate that. Let me see. Mark Blue, what's good? How you doing? Let me see. Jill Sal, PG was having 2 bad games already. Okay, let me see. We need Serge and Pack back. Okay. Inglewood, what's good? Village Vamp, what's good? Welcome in. We're almost at 50 people. Let's give it like another minute or so everybody comes in. HED, how you doing? Welcome in. D Rose, PG had an ankle injury. Yeah, I heard about that. We're going to get to all of that. I'm going to try to answer as many of your questions as we usually do, but I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about today because I know there's a lot of stuff been going on. I see people like Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp going back and forth, and I want to make sure we put I want us to be clear today when we put out this live. So we kind of straighten things up. What's up from SoCal? How you doing, man? Welcome in. Hey, Z-World, thanks a lot for that. Kawhi, yes, Kawhi is the man. Yes, he was at the game yesterday. I saw him there. It looked like, from what I saw looking at the game yesterday, make sure you guys keep hitting the likes, guys, so we get the likes up. We're almost at 50 people. Appreciate that. Looking at the game yesterday, I saw Kawhi sitting on the bench, but he had on his Clippers shirt, which makes me think that I think he was probably warming up, but he didn't play. I've never seen him wear like a Clippers shirt sitting on the bench like that. Usually, if a guy's not going to play, he's completely dressed in street clothes. So I was a bit surprised that he was wearing those clothes like that. Okay, Ben Time. Tehar was good. Mr. December 91. I see you. Kawhi needs to come back ASAP. Yeah, I think he'll be back. Hey guys, make sure we get the likes up. We're almost at 50 people. Let's give it about 30 more seconds and we'll get started. I want to give everybody an opportunity to come in here. Also, say what's up to Marco. He's also in here as well. So say what's good to him. He's here. Marco's always busy, man. So he's a very busy guy. Ty Lue said he might play on the road trip, but it was not the case. Okay. Let's give it about 20 more seconds and we'll get started. Let's give it about 20 more seconds. What's good? Kron S. What's good, man? Welcome in. Let me see. Okay. Slim Mac, T800. Kawhi will be back with a vengeance. Okay. Kawhi was reevaluated yesterday. Okay. So let's give it 10 more seconds and we'll get started. We got close to 60 people in here. Okay. Let me see. Good morning. Hey, how you doing? Okay, guys. So let's get started now. So this is what we're going to do. Make sure you guys keep hitting the likes. As people come in, make sure you tell them to hit the like so we get the notifications out. That's just how YouTube works. It's not like we make any money from it, just to make sure that the people get notified. Sometimes it doesn't go out. Another thing, if you guys want to make sure your comments are responded to, you can go ahead and join. Hey, Sam, what's good? Make sure you can get your loyalty badge. So just join the channel next to the subscribe button. You guys can join the channel and make sure that you get your loyalty badge. Or if you don't see it, just if you're on your computer, just click the $sign and join so I can see your comments if you want me to really, really respond to you, because once everybody starts coming in, there's going to be a lot of people in here. So anyway, let me get started here. So I got a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about. Let's get this thing going. We got about 50 people in here. Let's get the likes up and then we'll get started. Okay, so let's get into it here. Got a lot of stuff I want to talk about today. First of all, I want to talk about last night's game, okay? Because as usual, it seems to be the case, and we all know this. This is what it is now. As usual, whenever the Clippers don't do well, it always becomes part of the news, right? Just today, I was watching a segment on Undisputed with Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless. Now, obviously, Shannon Sharpe is trolling Skip Bayless. Like that okay, Shannon Sharpe is trolling Clippers fans. Let's just be honest about it, okay? He trolls you guys. Why? Well, I should say us now, because I'm also supporting the team as well. The reason he does that is Shannon Sharpe is the only person that can sit up there and talk about the Clippers losing a close game to the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, but not even mention the fact that the Lakers just lost to one of the worst teams in the NBA, in the Washington Wizards, last night. Nobody mentions that, okay? The Lakers were without their best player in LeBron James, and they lost to the Washington Wizards, okay? The Clippers were without their best player and 2 other starters, and they lost to the Phoenix Suns, and you got Robert Horry, who's a former Laker, out there talking about the Clippers are pretenders. You don't take those dudes seriously. Shannon Sharpe out there saying this. You don't take none of that seriously. Let's talk about the game last night. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, make sure you guys get the likes up, guys. The likes are a little bit low. Let's make sure we get the likes up. Keep leaving your comments. I'm going to answer your questions as they come in. Anyway, so let's talk about last night's game. So I watched that game. Last night we were live chatting. I was watching that game. Okay. Last night's game, if you saw it, it came down to rebounding. Okay, the Suns, if you watch that game, the Clippers could not secure a rebound, especially late in that game. Okay, the Phoenix Suns last night got 9 more rebounds than the Clippers as a team. Okay, the Suns had 15 offensive rebounds to the Clippers 5. 15 offensive rebounds, which equals second shot opportunities, and it explains why the Suns ended up taking 11 more shots in that game yesterday. They took 91 shots. Think about this, to the Clippers' 80 attempts in that game. So the Suns had 11 more opportunities to get a shot at the basket, and that was basically the game. Now, to be fair, the Clippers had some very lazy turnovers, bad turnovers by Paul George, by what's his name? Reggie Jackson. You saw the turnover that Reggie Jackson had, I think, within the last 3 minutes of the game. He came in, he drove into the lane, they cut him off, and then he kept dribbling. He lost his balance and he dribbled the ball out of bounds, right? The Clippers had some very silly turnovers, but give credit to the Suns' defense. The Suns played some defense, and they were able to turn them over, right? They were able to turn them over, but the Clippers had some bad turnovers in that game. Now, I'm going to get to the Rondo thing, because the one thing I didn't understand, and I'm going to get to this a little bit later, the one thing I didn't understand about that game was this. They got Rondo in the second, they had Rondo in the fourth quarter of that game. Make sure you guys keep in the likes, guys. The likes are a little bit low. Make sure you guys keep in the likes so we get the notifications out. They had Rondo in that game. In that fourth quarter, the Clippers were making a run. I think they pulled within 2 or 4 points in that game. Then Rondo went up for a shot. I think he made the shot, but his shoe came off. His shoe comes off. Okay. His shoe comes off. Then I think he puts his shoe back on. They sub him out of the game. Okay. As they're closing the gap. They sub him out of the game. They bring Reggie Jackson in, who was having a bad night overall. They bring him back in, and quickly the lead balloons all the way back up to 8 or 9 points. The moment Rondo went out of that game, everything fell apart. That's what happened yesterday in that game, right? And I'm going to get to that, but I just wanted to show you guys, to talk about the fact that I didn't understand why they had Rondo in the game. Ty Lue took him out of the game, brought in Reggie Jackson, and then like with a minute and a half or 2 minutes left, took Reggie Jackson back out of the game and then brought Rondo back in the game, right? This is the thing I'm not understanding about the Clippers. Now, let me talk about the Clippers as far as Paul George, because I want to get to this point before I go too far. Make sure you guys keep hitting the likes, guys. The likes are a little bit low. Make sure you guys get the likes. So let me go through some of your comments before I continue here. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Didn't the Wizards sweep the Lakers last night? Man, yo, it's not even these dudes. Anyway, let me get to that. You can't take Robert Horry. So you can't take Robert Horry seriously at all. He's the same guy. Robert Horry was the guy that said Tim Duncan. Think about this: a top 10 player of all time. And Tim Duncan, he basically said Tim Duncan is not all that good. So how can you take anything seriously that comes out of the mouth of Robert Horry? He said Tim Duncan, a dude that was a bench player, a role player that hit big shots. Okay, Robert Horry, I think, has 7 championship rings because he was a part of some good. I think it was part of the Lakers three-peat, and he was a part of the San Antonio Spurs. And this dude is now going to be the guy coming out talking about, oh, Kawhi and them. Hold up, what has Robert Horry accomplished? He's talking about Kawhi Leonard like as if you can't even talk about Kawhi Leonard. As Shaq says, you don't have the G14 classification to talk about Kawhi Leonard. Since when do we have bench players and role players talking about dudes that are finals MVPs? Where did they do that at? When did it become this? This the dude that's going to be informing us on Kawhi Leonard, and people are going to take this dude seriously, and Shannon Sharpe is running off with, oh, you hear what Robert Horry? Who cares what Robert Horry said? So you're going to put stock in what Robert Horry said, okay? But when Dr. J came out and then put LeBron on his second team, all of a sudden Dr. J doesn't know anything about basketball. Now I disagree with Dr. J not putting LeBron James on that team. But wait a minute, you're picking and choosing. So Robert Horry knows more about basketball because you had a lot to say about Dr. J's list. So please, like, the whole Robert Horry stuff, nobody's taking that seriously. He's a Lakers commentator, so that's completely understandable. Okay, I see we're close to 100 people in here. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Let me see what you guys are saying. The minute Rondo went out of the game, let me see what you guys are saying. Rondo needs to start and get more minutes. I'm going to get to that. Don't worry. I'm going to get to that. Let's just give it some time. Make sure you guys get the likes up. We're almost at 100 people. Do you rather see Portland or Dallas in the first round? Would I rather see Portland or Dallas? I wouldn't rather see either of them. I wouldn't want to see either of them, but you got, as they said, I think it was Richard Jefferson that said it yesterday. You got to play somebody. It's like, okay, you dodge Portland, but you play the Mavs. You're going to play somebody. Hell, the Clippers can end up meeting the Lakers. I'm going to talk about that in a minute because the Lakers they've gone 1-3 out of their last 4 games. And we got some dude coming on the comments. Oh, what about Paul George? The Clippers, they need to be worried about, whether or not they're going to be able to hold up to the number 3. Coming from a dude that's been supporting a team that's been floundering up and down. You're going to sit there and talk about Paul George. Some people kill me with the hate. Let me see. Flippers are the biggest joke in the NBA. I think this is the dude right here. Where he at? Let me see this dude. That remix. Yo, get out of here, man. Go do something with you. Go get out of here with your hating. So let me see what else you guys are saying. Robert Horry commenting like Jordan. Yeah, exactly. Horry's a clown. Exactly. I agree with you. Play Dallas. Exactly. Okay, so let me get to this whole Paul George thing. I want to talk about Paul George for a second here. Okay. This is what I want to talk about because some people has some things to say about Paul George because Paul George yesterday, I think he only scored 4 points in that fourth quarter. Okay. First thing, the Suns and the Clippers have played each other 3 times this season. Okay. Going into last night's game, Paul George was averaging against the Suns 36 points per game. He was shooting like close to 75% from the 3. He was shooting 100% from the free throw line. He was getting you 5+ rebounds, 4+ assists or so, and he was basic and 2 steals a game against this Suns team. Paul George doesn't have a bad game, but he doesn't have a great game. And you got dudes coming out here talking about, oh, Paul George. So my question is this. For the people that are coming out here talking about Paul George, where were you at why didn't I see these people commenting in the comment section when Paul George was violating the Phoenix Suns? Where were you at? I never saw these dudes. Where were you? I never saw you. Where were you? What type of weirdo behavior is this? You got the dude sitting in the bush waiting for the minute for something to go wrong. He's going to jump out and start acting like, oh, yeah, I told you. But where was you at when all of this was happening? Where were you? I never saw you. Second thing, do y'all realize that last night, for the people that are talking about the Clippers and this and that, do y'all realize that the Clippers' best player did not play in that game yesterday? Do y'all realize? Maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm the only one that didn't notice it. Did y'all realize that Kawhi Leonard didn't play last night? For the people that are feeling like as if this means something, because to me that game meant absolutely nothing. Let me say this. If the Suns lost that game to the Clippers last night, first of all, that would have been the third loss they would have had to the Clippers this season. But can you imagine the Suns? You're full strength. You got Chris Paul. You got Devin Booker. You got DeAndre Ayton. You got all these guys. And you go out there and lose to a Clippers team that was missing 3 starters? Can you imagine how embarrassing that would have been? So for the Suns to beat the Clippers, it's like, finally, you finally proved that you can at least get one game off the Clippers. Bravo. Congratulations. Y'all won a championship for that? So you got dudes, well, the Clippers, I told you they're going to crumble. They didn't even have their best player. Serge Ibaka didn't play. Patrick Beverly didn't play. Patrick Beverly played in the last game. So it's not like what are we discussing here? And for the haters, if any of you guys are in the comment section, let me just say it. Maybe it'll get you guys pissed off. PG is still better than Devin Booker. How about that? How you feel about that? PG is still better than him. So what are we talking about here? Make sure you guys keep hitting the like button, guys. Make sure you guys keep hitting the like button. Let me go through some of the comments here that you guys. I see we got a lot of comments again. So if you guys want to make sure your comments are read, make sure you go ahead and click that join button to join the channel. Let me see. Okay, we got about 100 people in here. Let's see what we got. Let me see what we got. Do you think the Clippers will stay in the 3rd seed? I think the Clippers are going to stay in that 3rd seed. I said it before last night's game. I think I said it in some of the previous video. I don't think the Clippers are moving up to the number 2 seed. To be quite honest with you, I don't think they're going to get there. Some people felt that way. If they were going to get to the number 2 seed, they needed to get that win last night because it's really the Suns. So, with them losing that game, I don't see them getting to the number 2 seed. And quite frankly, if you look at the Western Conference standings right now, okay, if I look at the Western Conference standings right now, let me pull it up right now. Let me tell you guys what the Western Conference standings are as we speak. The Western Conference standings right now, so let's just talk about it. You got the Jazz at number 1. Obviously, they've been there pretty much all season long. You got the Suns, you got the Clippers, you got the Nuggets, you got the Lakers, you got the Mavericks, you got the Trailblazers, and you got the Grizzlies. If the Clippers move to the number 2 spot, they're going to end up playing the Mavs. Okay. If they stay at the number 3 spot, if they move to the number 2 spot, they're going to play the Trailblazers. If they move up, they're going to play the Mavs, assuming those teams don't move around. So any way you slice it, the Clippers could end up possibly playing. They could either end up possibly playing the Lakers, the Mavs, the Portland Trailblazers, or they could end up dropping down and going to the 4 and playing the. So to me at this point, seeding only matters if we're talking about home court. And I know I've been seeing fans in the arenas recently, but in the Western Conference, because the teams are so good, whoever you draw is going to be tough. Like whoever you draw, if you draw Portland in that first game, in that first round, Portland with Damian Lillard and these guys, they're going to be tough. Luka Doncic and these guys, they can surprise you, right? They're not a very good defensive team, but they're a good offensive team. Hell, you could end up playing the Lakers in the first round. So I don't think there's like an easy path. I'm not Nick Wright that feels like, oh, it's going to be a cakewalk to the finals. And Nick Wright believes that if Anthony Davis is playing like garbage, but LeBron James comes back, or if AD is not even there, but LeBron is there, they're going to make it to the finals. So I'm not as optimistic as Nick Wright is. Okay, let me see what else you guys are saying. Denver been whining about Murray. What do you think about that matchup? Been winning without I got to look at the Denver Nuggets a little bit closer. I haven't paid much attention to them yet. What do you think will happen if the Clippers don't get to the Western Conference Finals or the final? I think if the Clippers don't get to the Western Conference Finals, this is Alonzo's question, I think it's going to be a bad look. They got to at least, I think the least you can expect from the Clippers is to at least get to the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion, the finals, right? Looking at the landscape, there are a few good teams out. There's some good teams in the West. Obviously, you have the Suns, you have the Lakers, you have the Jazz. It also depends on the route you take, right? But do the Clippers have as good as a shot as anybody else to get to the finals? I think so, right? Would it be a disappointment? I think a disappointment would be if they don't make it to at least to the conference final. That would be a disappointment. But for me, in my book, I think the Clippers are going to make it to the finals. This is just me. I could be wrong. It's just me and Skip Bayless. Oh, and Kendrick Perkins, by the way. We got a video dropping after this live. Be on the lookout for that because we're going to be talking about that. You don't want to miss that video. We got a lot of heat coming for you guys today. Let me go through some more of the comments here. Kawhi will leave the Clippers next year. Okay, maybe he told you. Let me see what else. No Ibaka, they need to win this year. I agree with you. Who would you rather face in the finals? The Sixers, the Nets, or the Bucks? I would pick the Sixers or the Bucks. Please do not give me the Nets. The Nets are too scary, man. Yes, the rest have been killing the squad. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me get back to my point here. Again, if you guys haven't had your comments responded to, make sure you go ahead and click that join button to join the channel. Let me get back to where I was. Okay, so the Clippers, deal with that. Okay, like they didn't play. Okay, so let's talk about Rondo. I want to talk about Rajon Rondo. That's the purpose of this live. Make sure you guys keep hitting the like button, guys, so we get it up. It needs to be at least 50% of the views, so make sure you guys keep hitting the likes. I appreciate that. Let's talk about Rondo. Because I've been asking this question about Rondo for the longest time. The question is, when are they going to start Rondo, or why isn't Rajon Rondo starting for the Clippers yet? When I brought this idea up, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I said, why aren't they starting Rondo? Some of the people in the comment section said, no. They don't want to start Rondo. They would prefer Rondo come off the bench and finish games. I said at the time, I said, the problem with that is if you don't start Rondo in games, given the fact that he's their best point guard, their all-around best point guard, he's not their number one scoring point guard because obviously I think Reggie Jackson is a two guard that's playing the one position because Reggie Jackson can score. But if you want to start off the games on the best foot, why wouldn't you start Rondo? Why are we waiting for the Clippers to start off the game, get into a rut, the offense is not running properly, and then we bring in Rondo like as if he's some type of, super glue or something, and he's supposed to come in and solve all of the problems for the Clippers like as if, like, y'all realize Rondo is human, right? Y'all realize that Rondo sometimes will play bad, right? So why are the Clippers waiting for, we're going to wait for the play. Let me give you guys a stat that's going to surprise you. Rajon Rondo has played with the Clippers for 13 games. In the 13 games that Rondo's playing with the Clippers, make sure you guys keep hitting the like button, guys. The likes are pretty low. Make sure you hit the like button. In the 13 games that Rondo's playing, Rajon Rondo is leading the Clippers in assists. Rondo has the most assists. He's averaging the most assists of any Clipper player right now. He's averaging more assists than Paul George, who's their second in assists, I think with 5.3. He's averaging more assists than Kawhi Leonard, who's at 5.1. Rondo's averaging 5.4 assists per game. So he's clearly their best passer. This is not even a question. Just go look at the stats. I have the stats here. The guy's averaging 5.4 assists per game, and he's coming off the bench. Like, what are we talking about here? The dude that's leading the team in assists is coming off the bench. He's their best passer. When he's in the game, yes, I know Rondo is not a great three-point shooter. We get that. Although he can occasionally hit the three. I get that, and he brings you something a little bit different than Reggie Jackson does. But my question is this. What exactly are we waiting for? Why are the Clippers waiting for things to fall apart before they bring him in? I just don't get it. Reggie Jackson is not a great decision maker. Reggie Jackson is a very good scorer. Reggie thinks first for himself. He thinks score first, pass second. In a situation where you got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George on both opposite wings, you got Marcus Morris Sr., you got Ivica Zubac. Who do you think is in a better position to get the most out of that lineup? Do you think it's Reggie Jackson or do you think it's Rondo? This is the question I'm asking because I don't understand why the Clippers, to this point, are still not starting Rondo. When I watch Reggie Jackson play, it reminds me a lot of Lou Williams. Lou Williams was a great scorer, especially when he was a little bit younger, maybe 2-3 years ago, or even last year. But when it comes time late in games, Lou Williams used to make a lot of boneheaded plays. Y'all remember this? Lou Williams was the king of telegraphing his passes. Him and Zubac could never make that pick and roll work. Y'all notice the Clippers are not running a lot of pick and roll for Ivica Zubac anymore because whenever Ivica Zubac gets the ball, if y'all notice, the moment Ivica gets the ball, he always brings the ball down and they swipe at it. If you look at big men that have been trained to play properly as post players, they always keep the ball above their head. They never gather with the ball and bring it down. If they lob Ivica Zubac the ball, he always catches it, brings it down, then goes up, and that's how you strip him. But usually, great big men, they keep the ball above their head so guys can't swipe at the ball. That happened at least 4 times last night. If you were watching that game, let me see what else you guys are saying. I see you guys got a lot of comments in here. Rondo, this is midnight, but Rondo needs to start games so he can set the tone for the team. This is what I've been saying because I'm going to get to the playoffs. Because my question is this. Y'all saw Patrick Beverly on the bench yesterday, right? Patrick Beverly has a fractured hand. Make sure you guys keep hitting the likes, guys. We're almost at 150 people. Y'all saw Patrick Beverly had a fractured hand yesterday as he was sitting on the bench. Y'all saw that. My question is this. The Clippers, as of right now, the Clippers have played. How many games have the Clippers played? The Clippers have played 64 games. Okay. That means there are 8 games left in the season. So my question is this. What if Patrick Beverly is not healthy by the time the season is over? Or my other question is this. If Patrick Beverly comes back, let's say with the last 2 games of the season, are you going to start Patrick Beverly over Rajon Rondo in the playoffs and play him with limited minutes? Or wouldn't you rather start Rondo and have Patrick Beverly come off the bench? Look at what the Brooklyn Nets are doing with Kevin Durant. The Brooklyn Nets ain't starting Kevin Durant in these games. He's coming off the bench, getting a rhythm, getting his legs under him, then he plays. But are you telling me that the Clippers are going to go into the playoffs and if Patrick Beverly comes back in the next, let's say 5 games from now, you're going to start him over Rondo? Why? What was the purpose of bringing Rondo in there? It's just something I don't get. Let me go through some of your comments here. Rondo should start a couple of games in the regular season and start. The thing is, because Rondo hasn't started any games, I don't even know what Rondo is going to look like in the starting lineup. That's the first thing. I'm going to get to Serge Ibaka as well. Let me see what else you got. Start Pat Bev so the guards on opposing teams won't gain momentum. They're gaining momentum anyway with those turnovers and bad decisions. You're going to hurt yourself if the offense is not running properly. Let me see what else you guys are saying. What seeding do you think the Clippers will be in the playoffs? What seeding? I think the Clippers are going to end up with the 3 spot. I think they're going to end up as a 3 team. Okay, let me see what else you guys are saying. I think they should save Rondo for the playoff. What do you mean save him for the play? Okay, if they're saving Rondo, why don't they save everybody else? What do you mean by save him? These games matter right now because these are seeding games. Like, I think a lot of people are looking at resting and guys, you can rest your players when the seedings doesn't matter anymore with like maybe 2 games left in the season. There's still a lot of movement happening in the Western Conference. If you look at the standings, if you guys pull up the standings right now, I want you guys to think about this. The Clippers or the Nuggets are 4 games behind the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. The Clippers are 3 games and the Suns are, which means that there can still be movement. The Clippers are playing the Nuggets next. Are they gonna save Rondo and then drop down to the number 4 spot? Because the Clippers and Nuggets have identical records as far as losses. If the Clippers lose that game, they're going to fall behind the Nuggets. So this thing of resting, we're trying to rest our players, makes absolutely no sense. Do y'all realize that the season ends on March 16, March 17? Do y'all know the playoffs start on March 22nd? Do y'all realize that during the play-in tournament, that teams are going to have days off? It's not like as if the season ends and then all of a sudden the NBA goes right into the right into their season. That's not how it works. You guys got to check the key deadlines and the key dates of the NBA season. That's not how it works. So this thing of, we need to get rest and we need to get rest. You're going to have rest. The playoffs are not starting immediately as soon as the season ends. It's not going to happen like that. Make sure you guys keep hitting the likes, guys. Almost at 150 people. I appreciate that. Do you think the Clippers will run an 8-man rotation in the playoffs? I think they will, but I don't know. I don't know who that rotation is going to be. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Pat Bev should start and Rondo will finish game. Rondo is not even finishing games now. So I don't know how it's going to work. No, okay, let me see what else. Reggie been shooting the threes well, but he's not a player. Reggie Jackson's been playing well. I definitely agree with that. I think Zhu should definitely be a starter. Yeah, Zubac has been playing pretty well as a starter. I'm not going to poo-poo Zubac. Zubac has been doing his thing. I'm not going to hate on Ivica Zubac. The dude has been doing his thing, right? But I think as you saw last night, when they took Ivica Zubac out, what happened? Immediately, the passing lanes opened up. I've been saying this all season long. It's the reason why I've been saying the Clippers needed Serge. We already saw this last season. Ivica Zubac was already on the Clippers last year. Zubac doesn't help with spacing. That's the reason why they brought in Patrick Patterson. Because Patterson helps with space. He stretches the floor, and that's the reason why Paul George and these dudes were able to get cleaner lanes, cleaner looks going to the basket. When you have Serge in the game, when you have Zubac in the game, all of those things go away. There's no spacing on the floor, right? Serge Ibaka provides a completely different a completely different element to the Clippers. Look at the Lakers. Is one of the things that we're seeing with the Big Penguin with Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond is a great player. He's a very, very good player. The problem is he's an anchor in the paint. And when LeBron James comes back, whenever that's going to be, whenever LeBron James comes back, LeBron James likes to play with spacing, right? Anthony Davis can stretch the floor, right? LeBron James can stretch the floor. He can knock down an open three. Dennis Schroeder can stretch the floor. KCP can stretch the floor to some extent. But when you have somebody in the paint that's packing in the paint, it's going to be a little bit hard. So LeBron is going to need some easy lanes. That's the reason the Houston Rockets shipped out Clint Capella. Y'all remember that trade? Because they said he was making it difficult for Russell Westbrook to get to the basket. The minute they traded away Clint Capella, Russell Westbrook was he was averaging the most points in the paint. Think about this. Russell freaking Westbrook was averaging the most points in the paint because he now had an easier lane to drive to the basket. So Zoo is good. Nobody's sitting here. He's very skilled. He's still developing. He's still a very young guy. But at the same time, it just means that there's some pros and cons when you have Ivica Zubac on the floor. This is just how it works. There's some pros and cons to it. So let me see what else you guys are saying in the comment section here. Let me see what Knicks fans have the same problem with Derrick Rose. Yeah, Derrick Rose probably has a similar effect. Okay, let me see what else you guys are saying. Let me see what Rondo. Okay, I think Zubac should definitely be a starter. Okay, somebody feels like that. To be honest with you, with their defense in the first half is horrible. Yeah, the defense in the first half of the clip. Make sure you guys, again, if you want your comments to be responded to, make sure you go ahead and click the join button to join the channel here. Their defense, I've noticed, has been a trend with the Clippers. Usually, it takes the Clippers about 2 quarters to understand what the opposing team is doing. I think the team that they played prior to that, I don't remember the team that they played. I think the Clippers, the team that they played prior to that, they scored a lot of points in that first quarter, and then the first half. Then in the second half, they held the team to 43 points in the second quarter, which is basically in the second half, which is around 21.5 points per game. Obviously, 21.5 points makes no sense on average, because how can you have 21.5 points in a quarter? So let's say 21 points and then 22 in the next quarter. So they usually improve in the second half of games. Last night, the reason why the Suns were able to score so many points for the people that came in late was because they couldn't secure any defensive rebounds. The Suns out-rebounded them by 10. And they ended up shooting 11 more shots overall. So they gave them 11 more opportunities to score. They shot similarly as far as three-point shooting percentage from the field, from the floor. It wasn't like as if it was it was pretty much a wash. But because they couldn't do that, that was the reason why it looked like their defense was bad, and they couldn't get defensive rebounds because they went small. And even when they did have Ivica Zubac in the game, he couldn't box out properly. And the Suns, I was saying it during the live chat last night, the Suns were just more active. They had more energy. Although the Suns were leading that game from wire to wire, the Suns were playing like as if they were down that entire game. So credit to the Suns, they played well. I don't think the Suns wanted to go down 3-0 to the Clippers in a season series. They didn't want to have that. So they didn't want the Clippers to have that type of psychological edge. But I said Kawhi Leonard did not play last night, so I didn't put much stock into that game. Let me see what else you guys. I think Boogie. Okay, let me see. Dude even had a dunk. I'd say Boogie. Okay, Pelicans. Okay, let me see what else you guys are saying. Why Lou didn't play Boogie? I don't think Boogie was quick enough to be out there. To be quite honest with you, I think with DeMarcus Cousins, although Cousins is very skilled, he reminds me a lot of that Marc Gasol kind of thing. DeMarcus Cousins is a very skilled big man, but he seems a little bit slow. If you look at his lateral quickness, he doesn't seem like he has a lot of lateral quickness out there. I don't think he's quick enough, to be quite honest with you. I don't know, but I've watched him. He is skilled. He does bring some things to the team, but he just doesn't seem like he has a lateral quickness to stay on the floor with this guys. Zoo needs to rest too with man. If you rest everybody, I don't know how you're going to play these games. Small thing, this loss means nothing. Yeah, this loss means nothing to me. A lot of people out there seem to be making it bigger than what it is. To me, I don't think this loss means anything, to be quite honest with you. I take nothing out of this, but a lot of people. PG took terrible shots in the fourth quarter. Yeah, because they couldn't generate cleaner looks. That was one of the problems, right? That's a byproduct of the personnel that you have on the floor. Let me see what else you guys say. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Serge and Kawhi needs to get back on the court. Yeah, I think Serge and Kawhi are going to be back. Serge Ibaka looks like he wants to be back. Okay, also, I noticed you guys have been asking some different questions out here. So if you guys have other basketball-related topics that you wanted to cover that we're not covered in this live, make sure you check out Dreamerspro Max. It's an online sports community place you can start basketball discussions. We usually chat live during games. We were live last night, live chatting last night during that game. So you guys can definitely live chat. You guys can live chat with us during games, and also you can consume original content that you're not going to get anywhere else on the channel. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. We're going to link that at the end of this video in the description, so you guys can get 7 days of access. Also, we're going to be live chatting a lot during the playoffs there, so you guys can leave some of your comments there. Let me get through some other comments here before I go. I saw videos of Zoo shooting threes. To be honest with their defense, okay, in the first half. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Kawhi is my guy. Okay, dude. Okay, let me see what else you guys are saying. They went for the biggest run when they were small. Yes, they did. I noticed that. What's your starting lineup with everybody healthy? My starting lineup, if everybody's healthy, I would start Patrick Beverly. If he's fully healthy, I would start Patrick Beverly, Kawhi Leonard, Serge Ibaka, Paul George, and Marcus Morris. If Patrick Beverly is like 50%, 60%, I would start Rondo and make Patrick Beverly come off the bench. This is just me. I think what will happen is Reggie Jackson will probably get the minutes of of Luke Kennard. That's probably what's going to happen. I'll take a few more of your questions and then we'll end it here. Let me see. Totally believing the Clippers will win it. Yes, I totally believe. I think the Clippers would have won it if he played too. Let me say, okay. Yeah, so I think I've answered the majority of your questions here. Cousins are better rebounder than Zubac, probably so. Do you think Kawhi resting now will matter much in the playoffs? I don't know. I think it's a wait and see game. We have to wait and see what's going to happen in the playoffs. But for now, I have no idea whether or not that's going to be the case or not. I think I've answered the majority of you guys' questions here. So again, for the people's questions that I didn't answer, if I missed any of your questions, and you have some questions you guys want me to answer, make sure you leave your question on the channel. Just make sure you click the join button and join the channel. When you leave it, we're going to see your membership badge. Also, people that are members of the channel, your comments go to a separate section on the channel. So we usually can go in there, respond to it from there. I think I answered everybody's question. So my thing is, I think Rondo should be starting, number one. Number two, I take nothing from that loss from last night. I know a lot of people are making a big deal out of it. I'm not making a big deal out of it. It means nothing to me. When 3 of your starters don't play, I'm not taking any stock in that. Like nothing. I take nothing from that game. So I think those are my general thoughts on that. Also, want you guys to be on the lookout for some videos we got coming out today. We got 2 videos coming out today on the channel, so be on the lookout for that. Those videos will be coming out soon. Anyway, hopefully I was able to answer everybody's question out there. We'll definitely catch you guys on the next live. We don't know when next. So you said you was going to talk about Serge. That's right. That's right. I did say that. Sir, yeah, I saw Serge before I go. Yeah, I just noticed that. Yeah, I forgot about that. So Serge, I noticed Serge has been training. I think Serge Ibaka is going to be back before the playoffs begin. This is what I think. I think Serge Ibaka is going to get at least 3 to 4 games under his belt. So I definitely think he's going to be back when the playoffs start. To me, it's a good sign because I'd rather have him start games in the playoffs because I think it's something that's very important for the Clippers to have in the playoffs. So I think he'll be back. I prefer him over Ivica Zubac, especially if they end up pulling, like, let's say the Lakers in the first round, or they end up playing the Denver Nuggets. You're going to need Serge Ibaka. Let's not kid ourselves here. Max Pinchinta, thanks a lot for that. I didn't see it. You're gonna need. Let's not kid ourselves. We already saw that story last year. We saw what Nikola Jokic did to the Clippers last year. Another thing, the Denver Nuggets have been winning even though they lost Jamal Murray. So let's not go out there because Michael Porter Jr. has been playing better. So let's not just assume, because Jamal Murray's not there, we don't need Serge Ibaka. We can just go in there and flex our muscle, and they're going to lay down for us. That's how you get caught off guard. So they do need Serge. I think he's going to be back before the playoffs. How soon, I don't know because I don't communicate with anybody on the Clippers. So I don't know about that. Let me see. I think somebody. Hey, the Lakers are trying to avoid the Clippers in round 1. According to Shannon Sharp and others, I don't think they are. Now, personally, if the Lakers are fully healthy, if the Clippers are fully healthy, I've said this maybe 150 times, I would definitely take the Clippers in the first round. So for me, that's what I definitely think. So I think I've answered pretty much everybody's question here. I heard Kyle Lowry making the way to the Clippers reunite. Probably next season. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, for your questions that I didn't answer, make sure you go ahead and leave them on the channel. Click the join button and join the channel. I'll definitely catch you guys on the next one. Catch you guys on the next episode, guys. Take it easy. I had fun with you guys today. Catch you guys later.